All right. Now let's continue this, man. Even though this is longer than the other two chapters, I think we've spent because we were talking a lot.
Yeah,
All right,
yeah.
chapter 4, man. Confrontation. Oh, and ready for it, man? Because there's no tragedy in this story. It's called confirmation and tragedy.
It's tragedy, dude.
Holy smokes, guys. Here's the fourth chapter, guys. You know the drill by now. Read and review. Now, before I let you know, get started on this chapter, I want you to make one thing clear. Cortex is not, and I repeat, not going to die this quickly.
Oh damn.
Wouldn't be any fun to have the main character main main bad guy kick the bucket this quick, don't you think?
You know what?
Which is
Okay.
kind of funny given what happens in this chapter.
Well, considering Cortex is like the main bad guy who they have to stop, I
Did he
I've
really?
I've okay. Considering this chapter, I'm just gonna. You know what? It's a
Yeah,
complaint.
man.
It's just gonna be a complaint later in the story.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's related to what happens in this chapter. So
Lastly, have fun. And before I forget, I do not own the Crash Bandicoot or any other series characters. No. Are
no,
you
you
kidding me,
fucking
Gabe? Did
do.
we forget this?
I hope this guy owns Crash Bandicoot, so this is canon.
I want to see another Crash Bandicoot game with Jack in it. He might be an interesting character. Super cool design, too. Cortex
Oh yeah.
looked mildly shocked as he took in Jack's new monster-like state. Play this is where the AMV you'd have. It's like
Yeah, dude, we'll play the Shadow the
Monster I've
Hedgehog.
Become.
No, we'll play the Shadow the Hedgehog with the no more gods, no more graves.
I,
No,
I
that's
was
how.
thinking Monster I've Become,
Oh, well, he has a.
but it's fine.
Yeah, you know what? Either one works.
Before his face suddenly twisted in an evil smirk. My, you really are a strange one. However, I'm afraid I'm not gonna have time to play with you. But Tiny would be overjoyed to play. Cortex then trailed off as he began pushing buttons on his hovercraft before beginning to teleport away. However, before the doctor could fully fade, Sonic, sorry, Jack roared out, "No, you don't!" Taking his white scythe, flinging it at the man, making it spin in a buzzsaw motion as he did. The blade hit the doctor's in his right arm, slicing it clean off the man's shoulders.
God damn.
Also, keep in mind that he purposely made it so the character would be, not kicking the bucket this quick.
Yeah,
But he
he
had to
just
do something.
fucking cuts his entire arm off, and they're like within 5 seconds of their first encounter.
After the now one-armed man yells out in great pain before fully fading away. Seeing his kill now gone, Jack took a moment to control of his nerves, making his skin return as he took a glance at the now limp arm that laid on the beach sands, mixing sand with the still flowing blood severed from the severed appendage. You should consider that a warning, Jack growled. Oh, I should have said that demonically. Whatever.
Oh, he's a demon, dude.
Jack growled out as he quickly lit the arm ablaze. Wow, that was enough. You had to light it on fire too. This guy's hardcore, man.
Damn.
Turning it to ash that would scatter to the wind. Because the next time the doctor and I will meet, I won't be so merciful.
God damn, dude. Guy's so
The
edgy.
man, I love how this is like a complete 180 from what was the previous chapter.
Well,
Man.
you know, Jack has to have this stupid shipping with Coco and like take his shirt off, and then he fucking like cuts his man's arm off and like burns it.
But and Crash Bandicoot thinks this guy is perfectly stable if he acts like this. Like also seeing the fact that he like
Yeah, well, like he
takes
was saying that that you know he didn't fucking what is it, you know. My job is hunting down people. I don't kill without proper judgment. I'm not a murderer after all. And he's fucking talking about like, I won't be so merciful. Blah blah blah. Like he sounds like he's like very like
unstable.
very unstable in his killing. You know.
I don't know, man. This is a bad situation. If I were Coco and Crash, I would somehow try to move away from this man.
Dude, how is there going to be shipping if they're scared of this man? His
You know what? You got a
demonic
point there.
skeleton fireman.
The man said, taking a moment to pick up the white blade he had thrown and placing it on his back to join its counterpart.
But
After
why did they
which,
call him the man? Why don't they just call him Jack?
that Something you notice about him, as well as a lot of fan fiction authors, is they always describe, if they're not doing by names, they describe the color and what it is.
Yeah.
So they say the white blade he had thrown, or the man, or the female. Sorry, female. They. It's a very specific description that a lot of fan fiction writers do
Yeah. Yeah.
constantly. Placing it on his back to join its counterpart, after which he turned to find the bandicoots looking at him with flabbergasted looks. What was that just now? Coco asked the girl, having trouble finding her voice. Jack just sighed. Oh man, it's so inconvenient to explain what happened, man. About how his freaking like skin melted off and he had fire skull. Before beginning to explain, that, my friends, is what happens when I get serious about my job as a Reaper. However, I have to be more careful not to lose control of my emotions. That's how he balances the character, man. He can't be overpowered without some downside, man. He said, trailing off as Coco looked even more confused. What happens if you do? The girl asked, almost scared to hear the answer. Jack then held out both of his hands before lighting a flame in each, a white one for the left, a black one for the right. Much like my blades, if I lose control, I could either end up transforming into a heavenly angel. That doesn't sound that bad.
He's gonna turn into an angel,
He said, trailing off as he held out his left hand as he did, or into a monster from the deepest pits of hell. He finished, holding up the black flame. The black flame in his right hand as he did. What's wrong with being an angel? Is that also bad? I don't know.
No, I think it's just the monster from the deepest, darkest pits of hell part.
I mean, that's clearly what he's going for. If the good thing is being a flaming skull that wants to murder people. Just saying, man. How the group didn't dwell on that for long, as they suddenly noticed a giant tiger fall from the sky in front of them, looking like they had been on steroids for way too long. Oh, it's so funny, author.
Wow, damn, dude. Judging Tiny Tiger, dude, is not.
The newcomer suddenly roared at them before speaking like a man that had more brawn than brain. Oh, mighty roast, dude. Tiny crush bandicoots and strange man. Jack just scuffed, pulling out what looked to be a ball of yarn as he did from somewhere.
Yeah, he just has a ball of yarn just in case this happened.
You must be tiny. Oh, and this is just showing his superior intellect now. That he showed his superior strength. Now he's to show that he's better than an intellect, replacing Coco in the process. Just wanted you to make sure you knew that. You must be tiny. You looked like you could use some exercise. Here, catch this, he said, chucking the ball of yarn deep into the forest as hard as he could. On instinct, the giant tiger began chasing the ball like a tiny kitten. Yarn! He roared as he disappeared into the deep jungle, leaving the rest of the group shocked. Aside from Jack, who just smirked. Wow!
Right. Oh my god.
Long!
I get the impression that this Jack guy is kind of a badass. God. I also like how like that problem was just solved within like 5 seconds.
That's what I mean. Now he's showing his superior strength. He's showing his superior intellect.
Oh yeah,
surpassing them in every way.
There's just no conflict in this. Like with like any of the like villains, there's like no conflict in this story because they're just like, so much weaker.
Well, the conflict is actually himself because he's just so powerful.
Well, yeah, he's fighting with his inner demons. That's the real villain of this story.
Wow. Long do you think it will take before he realizes he's been duped? The man laughed, turning to look Crash in the eye as he did. Crash responded back. Most likely 40 minutes at most. Jack nodded. Good. Then that'll give me time to recover from transforming in broad daylight then. That's another no unexplained power that he just explains in a brief
Yeah,
thing
like
there. 40 minutes later, Tiny was having much fun hunting for the ball of yarn the strange man had thrown earlier. He felt like a little tiger cub again, for after such a long time, he eventually found where the ball had landed. He reared his head down, intending to put it in his mouth when he froze, eyes wide as dinner plates. Eyes wide as dinner plates, as at that moment the giant tiger could have sworn he heard a donkey braying in the distance.
yeah.
Wait, what?
Finish the
I don't even
sentence
get
and
this joke.
finish the sentence. It's a really badly done joke. That's what this
You
is.
could do it, man. You could do it.
The giant tiger could have sworn he heard a donkey braying in the distance and saw the word jackass plastered on his forearm in bold.
I don't get it.
It's supposed to be like, okay, remember that one episode of SpongeBob
Yeah.
where Squidward gets the gift from SpongeBob and he hears the donkey. He's like, "Oh, I'm such a jackass." They didn't say that, but it's supposed to be like that.
Oh, that's what they mean by donkey braying.
Yeah, yeah. He's like a jackass. So it's like a donkey.
So now the tone of the fan fiction is a cartoon.
Yeah, after he cuts off some guy's fucking arm.
This person is just collaboration. Sorry, creating like an amalgamation of different thoughts he had in his head about like what he thinks is cool and different things he thought
Yeah.
during his childhood to compile into a story somehow. Like I don't even know, man. Within seconds, the tiger roared out in rage as he realized he had been duped before heading back to the beach on all fours, looking more like a bowl and china shop. He's really making a lot of jokes. He's attempting a lot of jokes very recently. Have you noticed that?
Yeah, it's
For
specifically with his
comparisons,
character.
looking more like a bowl in a china shop as he began to tear through the forest, leaving nothing standing. The group looked stunned as they all took in the damage. This feels unnecessary. If Jack could have beaten him like really easily or
Yeah.
some trash, like why did he need to cause all this damage for
Yeah,
no reason?
this is a really stupid whatever. You know what? Whatever.
Crash also probably Crash Bandicoot could deal with him, man. Like
Yeah, well, Crash Bandicoot's beaten Tiny before on multiple occasions, so
the group looked stunned as they took in all the damage Tiny had caused to not only the island but also their home. That seems like a bad situation that Jack caused. But how much are you gonna bet that this is not Jack's fault in any way? No one comments on it. They knew they had to do something, but they also knew better than to try and approach a wild animal that had been ticked off, lest they wanted to be the next meal. Jack cursed to himself. Crash cursed to himself, as in character, as he does in the games.
yeah, yeah, you know.
Ashamed that he had let the damage. They blame it on Crash, even though Jack was the one at fault
Yeah,
for this trash.
I'm reading through this and I'm thinking like the whole reason this happened in the first place is entirely Jack's fault. Like if they just fought Tiny and like kicked his ass on the spot, like none of this would have happened at all.
Crash cursed himself, ashamed that he let the damage become this bad. What the trash are they talking about?
If he had done something, anything.
Gosh, freaking darn it. None of this would have happened. Jack Harvard just vanished and appeared in front. Oh, so he's going to solve the problem that Crash caused? Question mark? What?
Well, no, Jack's gonna. Whatever.
I love how they, even though Jack made a mistake, they use it to make the main
Yeah,
characters look
yeah.
worse.
It's
despite...
like framed as Crash's like failing, as like something he should have done, even though the entire fucking situation is Jack's fault. God damn,
oh
dude.
my
It's
god.
like the most like that's literally the most like Mary Sue shit ever, dude. Like you can't even let their characters have faults. And,
I
like,
know
do,
Mary
like,
Sue's a
bad
common
things.
trope in fan fiction, but this takes it to whole nother level. Whole nother level. Jack, however, just vanished and appeared in front of the raging tiger before clasping his hands around the beast's neck, muttering, "Okay, kitty, I think you need a time out." As he said those words, he flipped over on his head, bending his whole body back as he did, before he slammed the tiger's head to the ground. After that, he let the beast fall down in a heap, knocked out, before grabbing one of the tiger's legs and spinning around like it was a hammer in a throwing contest at the Olympics. Because that's how cool he is, man. He's even an Olympic hammer thrower, man. Hammer throw contestant.
Mm-hmm.
That's how cool Jack is. And launching him into the blimp he had come from, he then surveyed the damage, inhaling sharply through his teeth as he did. Darn it, this shouldn't have happened. Crash screamed out as he began to look down in his feet as horror at his feet in horror. Coco looked at Aku Aku with tears filling her eyes. Please tell me you can fix this, she begged the Tiki, whom had been quiet the entire time. Like literally the entire time, really. Since chapter one, maybe? During the exchanges between Cortex and Tidy. Just shock, hid, head, shook his head in dismay. Even if I could fix all this, Coco, there's no way to tell how long it could take. Days, months, or even years. I just don't know.
For the record,
Let,
this is Tiny Tiger is just like destroyed the island. Like this isn't like a bomb or something like this. Like this,
yeah, I know.
like it can't be that much worse than like a tornado at worst. Like you can fucking rebuild houses and shit. Like
Don't they live in like a wood shack
they literally
with
live on like
thatching on the
yeah, they
top?
live in like some shitty like wood shack on the beach. Like it's not that
Take
hard of a
years to build?
yeah, it wouldn't take
Didn't it?
years to build, even though they're like, well, I can't build this, even if I could do this. You know, it's like, really? This is such like a stupid excuse for like having their home be destroyed
right.
beyond repair. Like, if Tiny could just do this the whole time, then why didn't fucking Cortex do it already? If it's that easy, like
I
they,
love
whatever.
I also love the fact that Jack is so egotistical. He has absolutely no guilt or shame, even if
Yeah,
even if it technically was Tiny's fault. He feels no regret or shame whatsoever, or guilt or anything. And in fact, Crash feels it for some reason.
yeah. Crash is the one who feels ashamed, dude, because you know. Again, literally, this
And,
wouldn't have happened if he just let Crash fight Tiny. Like, or if
or
fucking Jack
himself.
had just done what he did 5 seconds ago when he first met him, instead of distracting him with a fucking ball of yarn. He could just easily like chokehold him and like fucking throw him into the ground. If he could just do that, like why? Okay, whatever. You know what?
Am I to believe, by the way, that essentially he threw the ball of yarn and it took him 40 minutes? Is that what actually happened? It took him 40 minutes to come back?
Yeah, you
Or
stupid.
maybe it took the 40 minutes to destroy the entire island as they watched doing nothing. Is that what happened?
Yeah, it doesn't
Did
really
they
make
literally
it
just
clear like what the other characters are doing while he's. They just say the
Oh
group looked
man.
stunned as they took in all the damage Tiny had caused. Like this,
They're just watching him as he destroys the island for like 30 minutes.
yeah, where could they possibly be? Like, if he's destroying not only the entire island but their homes as well. This is so poorly explained and such a shitty plot point. This makes no sense on any level.
The mouse said sadly as the tears in the young bandicoot's eyes began to flow freely, not being held back anymore. No, no, it can't be true, she screamed out, having to rely on her brother for comfort. I know, sis. I know, Crash said, holding his sister close as a single tear fell from his eye. Jack felt the pain in his heart as he took in the scene
The
in front of
scene.
him. There had to be something he could do, but what? I like how he's looking as a third party, looking in the situation, pitying them.
Yeah.
Jack's eyes suddenly widened as an idea struck. He quickly went away from the group quietly, as to not raise suspicion, before pulling out what to be a cell phone and pushing the speed dial. Hey, it's me. Yes, I know we haven't talked in forever. Listen, he's been using his epic connections, man, but I
Yeah.
wonder what epic connection he's going to be talking to, man. Listen, I'll make this quick. I made a few friends on the island on the coast of Australia. He waited for the person on the other end to respond before. Continuing, yes, the Wampa Islands. Exactly. He waited again. Yes, they lost their home beyond repair. Wait a second. Hold up. Hold up. Hold the phone. He said, hey, it's me. I know you haven't talked forever. Listen, I'll make this quick. I found a few new friends on an island in the coast of Australia. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, his, sorry, the character on the other side of the phone
Spoiling the
immediately assumed
story.
that they lost their home beyond repair based on that information.
Oh right, yeah, that is weird. That they just immediately make that assumption.
It has this happened before, Jack? Have you called your other person on the phone because someone lost their home beyond repair? Has this happened before? Is that what this story is implying right now? This is a usual scenario.
Of course,
Gosh,
man.
freaking darn it,
Also,
man.
I just like the concept of somebody being like, yeah, we haven't talked in forever, but these people that I just met, yeah, I need like you to like give them a home.
Yeah.
It's so stupid.
Well, she already knew their home was broke, Gabe, so it wasn't
Oh,
that hard to
okay,
explain.
it's not that much of a stretch.
He then waited before beginning to smile. Okay, I'll ask them and contact you shortly. With that, he ended the call before turning to the group, getting everyone's attention as he did. Okay, everyone, I just got off the phone with someone that might be able to help. See, this is what I mean about him, like, not trying to lead towards something of who it could be. Here's
Yeah.
another example, like leading towards lines or
Oh
specific
yeah.
plot point. Coco whipped her eyes. No, is that really wiped? I guess it is wiped.
That's whipped.
Coco wiped her eyes before looking at him with confusion. Can they fix our island? She asked. Hope filled her tone. Jack looked at her sadly. Not exactly. By that he means no, by the way, audience. Like, I just want to specify he's just saying this for dramatic is no.
Literally just for dramatic effect. Like,
Oh, hold up, hold up. She then looked a bit angry. Then what can they do? Jack held up his hands defensively before responding. They can offer you all the all the best thing for you. The group's eyes grew to the size of dinner plate. Again, that same simile or whatever metaphor. The group's eyes grew to the size of dinner plates before the tiki man responded to the group. What could that be? Jack gave a small smile, placing a hand on Coco's shoulder. Oh, that's really condescending, putting someone's
hand on the shoulder
pulling her in
and
close.
pulling her in close. Yeah.
A permanent home, a new permanent home. Sorry,
Damn.
I love how permanent is like capitalized to emphasize that maybe even their own home wasn't even that permanent to begin with. This is going to be their home. Period.
And I like how he also sort of implies that this new permanent home is better than the last one as well. It's all the best thing
Yeah,
for you all. Like that's better than
yeah.
fucking fixing their home. Yeah, whatever.
I think this author kind of thinks of themselves as a really good writer, constantly trying to lead towards something.
Mm-hmm.
And you see it a lot, and that is one of those examples. It is really funny. I think I kind of spoiled it, but it's really funny what they do here.
I
That is
might
chapter 4.
yeah.
Yeah,
That is
man.
chapter 4.
Yeah.
Damn.
How'd you
Almost
enjoy that?
or
Please feel free to leave a comment so we can ignore it.
dude, this story sucks ass so far and it's about to get so much worse.